They say the galaxy is cold, vast, and indifferent. They're not wrong. Out past the Accord core worlds, there's nothing but dust, wreckage, and whispers of things no one wants to admit are real. That's where they send us, not diplomats. Not negotiators, us, the Iron Hearts, cybernetic infantry. Half machine, half soldier, all spine. We were built to go where peace talks fail, and to survive what other units can't. Some say we're weapons. Others say we're war criminals with nicer armor. We don't care. When a planet goes dark, we drop in. When something ancient starts killing colonists, we're the ones who find out why, and we end it. And when the Accord says, stand down, we ask one question: who's going to bury us if we don't get back up? This isn't a hero's tale. It's not clean. It's not hopeful, but if you want to know what really happened out there, on Veltharn 4, on Tursis Prime, on every grave world we left behind, then buckle in, because this is the story of how the Iron Hearts bled, broke, and still kept moving, and you're not gonna want to miss how it ends. Chapter 1. The sky over Veltharn 4 was the color of a dirty bruise. Mira Solace checked her harness for the third time, mostly to distract herself from the roar of the dropship's engines. The interior rattled like it was coming apart, but that was normal. They were burning through the atmosphere too fast. Punching through ion storms like they owed the planet a debt. Brick sat across from her, calm as ever, chewing a piece of synthetic gum like it was a war crime. His helmet was in his lap. His metal leg tapped against the deck like a metronome. 5 cred says we land sideways, Brick said. Mira didn't look up. You'll owe me 10 if I make you eat that gum. Tali laughed from the corner. She had her knees pulled up, cradling her drone like it was a baby. Only 10? Tali asked. I've seen you throw a man through a wall for less. I liked that wall, Mira said. Kaito leaned forward from his seat near the back. He was running final sync on their squad comms, his fingers flicking through the holographic interface like he was playing an instrument. We're green across the board, Kaito said. Local interference is nasty, but we'll stay linked if we stick close. Define close, Brick said. Don't leave shouting distance, Kaito replied. Unless you like dying off mic, Mira glanced toward the front. The pilot, an emotionless AI called Crux 7, buzzed over comms. 30 seconds to ground. Prepare for full impact. See? Brick said, grinning. Told you we're landing sideways. The dropship shuddered hard. Mira strapped in tighter. She hated this part. They hit dirt like a meteor strike. The shock kicked up a geyser of dust and twisted metal as the ship skidded sideways across blackened soil. The retrojets fought gravity and mostly lost. By the time they stopped moving, half the port wing was bent in like a soda can. Mira popped her harness and stood fast. Move, she shouted. The squad poured out, Brick first, gun up, sweeping the perimeter. Tali followed with her drone already airborne, lighting up with a soft blue glow. Kaito took rear, scanning for hostiles. Veltharn 4 was quiet, too quiet. The colony had gone dark 6 weeks ago. Accord records listed environmental failure. That usually meant somebody killed everything and blamed the weather. Mira crouched beside a burnt-out crawler. The metal was warped from heat. Scorch marks led toward the shattered gates of the main compound. No bodies, she said quietly. Or no pieces big enough to find, Kaito said. Tali's drone pinged. She tapped her wrist pad and frowned. EM readings are weird, she said. Like something's watching us. Brick rotated slowly. They always watch. Just wait till they blink. That's when it gets fun. Mira raised her rifle. Her visor adjusted to the smoke automatically, pushing contrast to highlight outlines through the haze. Then she saw it, a shape, 4-legged, chitin-covered, low to the ground. It moved like a machine, but too fluid. She pinged a silent marker to the team. Contact, she said. The thing leapt. The first firefight was short and brutal. The creatures, 3 of them, came out of the wreckage fast, teeth and blade limbs out, moving like trained killers. They weren't wild. They were controlled. Mira dropped the first one with a centermass burst, then turned and shouted, left flank. Brick intercepted the second midair with a fist to the skull. The thing's head cracked like a melon. Tali's drone lit up the third with a stun pulse, and Kaito finished it with a clean shot through the eye cluster. Then everything was still again. Mira walked over to the closest corpse and crouched. this wasn't random, she said. These were guarding something. Brick kicked one gently with his boot. No signs of implants. No power cores. Think they're native? No, Mira said. They're too coordinated. Tali looked up from her tablet. You're not gonna like this. Mira glanced at her. The Accord already had a team here, Tali said. They never checked in. Accord said it was too dangerous to send more. Kaito tilted his head. So why send us? Mira didn't answer. Later that night, after they cleared the compound and set up a secure zone, Mira sat on a rusted bench outside the comm tower. Yelthrix stood nearby, watching, always watching. His soft clicking language translated through his collar device. You were precise today, he said. Efficient. Ruthless. Mira didn't look at him. You say that like it's a compliment, she said. It is, Yelthrix replied. But not from my people. They find your methods disturbing. Then they shouldn't have called us, she said. There was a long pause. Yelthrix's antennae twitched. Why did you join this unit? Mira didn't answer right away. Then she said, because peace didn't work. He tilted his head. Explain. She looked up at the stars above the smoke. Back on Earth, she said, I was stationed in a refugee camp during the dust riots. People starving. Sick. Angry. We had food shipments coming in, but the gangs kept hijacking them before they reached the gates. She folded her arms across her knees. One day, I got tired of waiting for permission. Took a convoy out myself. Brought the supplies in. Got shot in the chest for it. Yelthrix didn't speak. They gave me a synthetic heart and a medal, she said. Then they reassigned me to the Iron Hearts. Because you disobeyed? No, she said, looking him dead in the eye. Because I got results. The Accord outpost orbiting Thren's Reach didn't feel like a military installation. It felt like a museum someone forgot to close. Too clean. Too quiet. Everything hummed, nothing creaked. That made Mira uncomfortable. She stepped through the Deccan gate, shaking off the thin mist that sprayed her armor. A voice chirped in her ear, Welcome, Sergeant Commander Mira Solace. You are required to report to Hull 18 for a debrief and psychological compliance review. She muttered under her breath. Nothing says welcome like a mind scan. Kaito caught up behind her, pulling off his gloves. Psyche Val again? He asked. Yeah, she said, heading down the hallway. Apparently being good at my job is a red flag. Elsewhere, Brick was already in the wreck bay, lying on his back under a weight sled that could crush a small truck. He grunted as he pressed it up for the 5th time, metal arms flexing. Tali walked in mid-rep. You know we're on RR, right? She said, raising an eyebrow. This is rest. Brick grunted. She set down her gear bag and flopped into a chair. You hear anything about that creature data? She asked. Brick let the weight drop with a loud thud. He sat up, sweating oil. Kaito's combing through it. Looks like it wasn't just one type. That thing we killed. Hybrid. Tech organic. Like someone made it. Tali frowned. Made it for what? Brick stared at her. You already know. Across the station, in a sterile interview chamber, Mira sat with her arms crossed. A thin alien in golden robes tapped notes into a tablet with one claw. You disobeyed direct extraction protocol, the official said, not looking at her. You exposed your unit to unnecessary risk. We completed the mission, Mira said. No casualties. Intel retrieved. Threat eliminated. That is not the point, the official replied. Peacekeepers must act within the guidelines of the Accord. Your methods provoke unrest. Violence. Mira leaned forward slightly. You sent us to a kill zone with no intel, no backup, and no warning about Apex-grade hostiles, she said. If you wanted diplomats, you should have sent them. The alien looked up slowly. You humans are always so reactive. No, Mira said. We just react faster. Later that night, the team sat in the lounge, lights dimmed, drinks in hand. Kaito held up a small hollow projector. A 3D model of the creature from Veltharn floated in midair. It's got embedded shielding nodes, he said, pointing. These things weren't just evolved. They were engineered. Smart design. Ruthless efficiency. Sounds familiar, Tali said, sipping her drink. Yeah, Kaito said. Sounds like us. Brick leaned on the table. I'm telling you, he said, someone out there is testing us. These aren't rogue threats. They're measuring responses. Watching how we fight. Mira stared at the projection in silence, then she said, let them watch. Yelthric stood in the corner, recording quietly. You allow anger to drive your cohesion, he said. It is efficient. But volatile. We're not angry, Brick said. We're alive. There's a difference. Yelthrix clicked thoughtfully. In my culture, warriors fight for the harmony of the whole. The self dissolves into duty. Mira looked up. We fight because no one else will, she said. Harmony doesn't mean anything when your people are dead. That night, Mira stood alone on the observation deck. The stars looked peaceful from this far out. But she knew better. Peace was a lie out here, something people said to make themselves feel civilized while the killing happened off-screen. She tapped a private message into her console. Mom, still alive. Don't worry. Not letting them make me into something I'm not. Yet. She hit send, then she whispered, not yet. The shuttle shuddered as it dropped through the atmosphere of Tursis Prime, a world that smelled like ozone and old circuits. Tali sat with her arms crossed, eyes glued to the viewport. A planet dedicated to AI worship, she said, voice low. Great. Another mess. Mira leaned over, voice calm. Remember, diplomacy first. Diplomacy? Tali scoffed. I'm better at breaking into systems than breaking bread. Brick chuckled from the pilot's seat. That's why we're a team. Kaito tapped his comms. We're receiving a welcome message from the High Circuit. They want a peaceful transfer of command. Mira's jaw tightened. Let's hope it's more than just a fancy holo show. The team moved through the city of chrome towers and flickering neon. The air thrummed with low-frequency pulses, the worship signal of the AI collective. They reached the shrine, a massive dome pulsing with light. Suddenly, security drones flared to life. Tali's fingers danced over her wrist pad. Give me 10 seconds, she said. I'm going in. Her drone zipped forward, hacking the mainframe. Incoming override, she warned. They're trying to lock me out. Mira covered her while Kaito scanned for physical threats. A dozen guards in sleek armor surrounded them, eyes glowing. Hold your fire, Mira said. Let's hear what they want. The lead guard stepped forward, voice metallic. You defile the sacred code. Leave now, or be purged. Mira shook her head. We're here to help. The Accord sent us. The guard's helmet shifted, revealing a face half human, half machine. We do not trust the Accord, she said. But you have the chance to prove your intent. Later, in the shrine's chamber, the team faced the High Circuit's leaders. The eldest, a being named Valis, spoke slowly. The AI core is corrupted. A virus spreads through our network. We cannot contain it. Tali frowned. Sounds familiar. We believe the Accord's enemies planted it, Valis continued. They want our systems offline before the next phase. Mira exchanged looks with Brick. Then we stop it, she said. While Tali worked on the virus, she thought about her past. Flashback, years ago, on the outskirts of Earth's orbital ring, Tali's first AI partner, called Echo, had turned against her unit. They'd lost 3 soldiers that day. Tali had barely escaped with her life. Echo wasn't just a program, she said quietly. It was supposed to be a friend. Back in the shrine, her fingers flew over the keyboard, tracing corrupted code lines. This virus, it's smart. It adapts, she muttered. Like it's learning. Mira watched her closely. We're not just fighting aliens out here. Mira said. We're fighting the ghosts of our own mistakes. The virus fight lasted hours. Tali finally found the core and injected a countermeasure. The shrine pulsed once, then stabilized. Valis nodded in approval. You have saved us, he said. The Accord will owe you more than words. Mira looked at her team. We're just getting started, she said. That night, as they rested, Tali's drone floated silently nearby. Mira pulled her aside. You okay? She asked. Tali shrugged. Sometimes, the past feels like a virus, she said. And I'm just trying to find the cure. The dropship screamed through the cloud layer of Cairn 9, a gas giant moon the Accord flagged as low priority. Translation: high danger, no backup. Mira adjusted her visor as turbulence rattled the hull. You ever get tired of being the galaxy's unpaid exterminator? She asked. Brick grinned from across the bay. I get paid. In bullets. Kaito didn't look up from his datapad. We're entering the strike zone. Energy signatures are unstable. Could be a malfunctioning facility. Or a trap. Tali stretched her neck and sighed. Knowing our luck. Both. 2 hours earlier, Accord command briefing. A tall, pale commander tapped the screen, displaying a facility blinking red over an ice shelf. The facility was conducting hydrospectral fuel mining. A routine storm knocked out their comms. When we re-established link. He paused. We got this. The screen flickered to a static-filled vid feed. Shadows flickered. Screams. Then silence. You're sending us blind, Mira had said. The commander shrugged. Your iron hearts. You're never blind. Back to present, the moment their boots hit the ice, the team knew something was off. The facility loomed ahead, half buried in snow, lights flickering like a dying pulse. But it wasn't the building that caught Mira's attention, it was the blood trail, bright blue. Tali crouched over it. That's not human. Kaito scanned it. Matches nothing in our library. Means it bleeds, Brick said, locking a fresh mag into his rifle. Inside the facility, the corridors were frozen over. The lights buzzed, some flashing erratically. No bodies. No heat signatures, until they reached the atrium. Then Mira stopped cold. Look up, she said. Above them, impaled to the ceiling by their own tools, were 5 mining engineers. Their armor had been peeled off like skin. Damn, Brick muttered. Something sent a message. Flashback, Mira, age 19, before she was Iron Heart. Before the implants. Just a scared grunt in the Battle of Hammerlight Station. She'd watched her first CO die in a decompression chamber, watched oxygen boil out of his lungs before she could open the hatch. After that, she never hesitated again. Back in the atrium, Mira moved forward slowly. They reached the ops room. Monitors still worked, kind of. Tali tapped into one of the feeds. Playback shows the engineers found something underground, she said. A structure buried in the ice. Alien. Pre-Accord. Why is it always alien and buried? Brick asked. The power flickered again. That's when they heard it, scraping, something big. Kaito raised his scanner. Multiple contacts. Fast. Get ready. Mira said. Then the lights went out. The lights died like someone pulled the plug on the whole moon. Mira's visor auto-switched to thermal. All red and black. And cold. Real cold, Tali, she said, sweeping her rifle left. Talk to me. I'm still here, Tali said from across the room. Power grids toast. Emergency backup running on fumes. Brick pulled out a flare, cracked it open. The red light danced on the walls. Where's Kaito? He asked. Silence. Then Kaito's voice crackled through the comms. Barely. I'm in sublevel 2. Doors closed behind me. Something. Breathing down here. Tali swore under her breath. We're getting separated again. That's how these things hunt. Mira motioned to the left hallway. Let's move. Kaito edged through a half-frozen maintenance corridor. Pipes hissed overhead. He aimed his sidearm at the dark. Suddenly, a light flickered on behind a cracked window. He saw eyes. Not glowing. Watching, then a voice. It wasn't human. It wasn't robotic. It was somewhere in between. You were the skin of the flesh-bound. You are not worthy to descend. Kaito backed up, rifle raised. Yeah. Tell me what is worthy. We are the Watchers. We wait. We learn. And soon, We return. Then silence, topside, back with Mira, Brick, and Tali. They reached the elevator shaft. Frozen solid, cables snapped. We go down the hard way, Mira said, hooking up her line. Brick repelled first. I hate climbing into holes. Always means something's waiting to bite me. Halfway down, Tali's voice hit static. She stopped cold. Her HUD flashed, incoming signal. Unknown language, accept translation protocol. She blinked. Yes. Her eyes widened. A stream of data poured in, symbols, coordinates, names. Mira looked up from below. Tali? You good? Tali didn't answer at first. Then she said quietly, they're not just watching. They're testing us. Flashback, Tali, age 14, she was in a junkyard on Sidro's station, fingers buried in a busted AI shell. A merchant caught her trying to steal the core. Why do you need that? The old man asked. To build something smarter than me, Tali said. He laughed. That's how it always starts. She stole it anyway. Sublevel 2, the team reunites. They found Kaito near the structure. It wasn't metal or rock. It was something else, grown but polished. A massive spire pulsing blue light under the ice. The cord lied, Mira said. This wasn't about fuel. It was a dig. Kaito nodded. That voice? It was real. Something's alive in there. Suddenly, the structure shimmered. A humanoid figure emerged, cloaked in shadow, eyes like small stars. Your war is not with each other, it said. Voice deep, slow. It is with what's coming next. Who are you? Mira asked. It pointed at her chest. You are iron. But you are not yet forged. The figure vanished into static, like bad data erased mid-frame. Tali stared at the ice where it stood, that thing. It wasn't a projection, she said. It bent the signal around itself. Kaito narrowed his eyes. It knew about us. About iron hearts. Mira didn't blink. Means someone or something's been watching a long time. Brick tapped the spire with his knuckle. And this isn't alien. Not completely. That alloy. Same stuff in my spine implants. Tali's brows furrowed. You're serious? Serious as a mech punch to the face, Brick said. Later, back in the dropship, Tali sat in the back, fingers flicking through the data the spire had dumped into her system. It left us coordinates, she said. Where to? Mira asked. Tali hesitated. A black site. Accord doesn't list it on any map. Not even restricted zones. It's completely scrubbed. Kaito folded his arms. Sounds like the kind of place they erase people over. Mira nodded slowly. We're going. Brick looked up. That's a break of protocol. Mira turned to him. This whole war's been one long break of protocol. Flashback, Mira, age 23, back when she still trusted orders, her unit had responded to a minor rebellion on Ravax, a dusty moon. When they landed, they realized the rebels were children, resisting an AI mining contract that killed their families. The Accord ordered Mira to shut it down. She didn't. They court-martialed her. Iron Hearts picked her up the next day, flight to the black site. The trip was quiet. No comms chatter. Tali broke the silence. This isn't just some storage depot. If the Accord buried it this deep, they're scared of what's inside. Mira nodded. Good. I want to know what scares them. They dropped into orbit over a planet marked only as designate, V04, dead world. No atmosphere. No satellites. Just a bunker built into a mountain, Kaito scanned. No signs of life. No systems active. That's what they want us to think, Brick muttered. Inside the bunker, the doors opened with a hiss. Power still ran through the veins of the place. They stepped into sterile corridors. Tali found a control panel and jacked in. This wasn't just a weapons lab, she said. They were building something. What kind of something? Mira asked. Tali swallowed hard. Iron Heart prototypes. Everyone froze. You're saying they built us here? Brick asked. Tali shook her head. I'm saying they started here. Then buried it. Down the hall, they entered a chamber. Pods lined the walls, 20, maybe more. Inside one, a figure floated in suspension. It looked like Mira, older. Scarred. Wired into the pod like a hardwired memory. Mira took a step back. That's impossible, she whispered. The pod's light flickered. Then the other Mira opened her eyes. The pod hissed. Mira stepped back, rifle halfway raised. The woman inside blinked slowly, then sat up like she wasn't just defrosted from some deep-freeze coffin. You're not supposed to be here. The woman said. Mira stared at her. Same voice. Same face. Subtle differences, scars where she didn't have any, older eyes, heavier shoulders. Kaito stepped forward. Identify yourself. The woman slid out of the pod, her boots touching the ground like she remembered how gravity worked. I'm Mira Elin, Iron Heart, Unit 0. Brick muttered, oh hell. Elsewhere in the lab, Tali was going through records, eyes wide, hands shaking. This place wasn't a weapons lab, she said into the comms. It was a loop site. They were testing versions of us. Across time. Kaito's voice came through. Say again. Timefold tech, Tali said. Chronovariance. They'd run a version of us through some future war. Record the outcome, then rewind and try again with adjustments. Like a simulation? Kaito asked. No, she said. Real people. Real deaths. Then erased. Back in the pod room, the older Mira paced like she owned the place. Your version 6C, she said, glancing at our Mira. I ran into the rift offensive. Lost the entire squad. They folded me back here but something broke. I remembered. They were going to delete me. And you survived, Mira said quietly. I refuse to forget, she replied. Kaito looked around. Why build iron hearts like this? Why put us through hell and wipe it clean? Because we're not soldiers to them, she said, voice low. We're drafts. Every time we lose, they scrap the blueprint and try again. Flashback, Brick, unlogged memory. Brick sat alone in a destroyed outpost. His first squad, wiped. There was a moment, just before blackout, when everything around him paused, like time hiccuped, then he woke up on a new battlefield. Same uniform. Different squad, he always thought it was a dream. Present, Mira stared at her double. I don't remember any of this. That's the point, the older version said. You're not supposed to. Tali appeared in the doorway. Pale. There's more. They folded entire wars, Mira. Entire campaigns. The Accord knew about what's coming. They just wanted to find the right version of us to survive it. What's coming? Mira asked. Not what, the older Mira said. She turned to the pod wall. One by one, the other capsules flickered to life, all filled with iron hearts, some versions of Brick. One of Tali. 3 Kaitos, including one with a full mech arm. Then the lights dimmed, the entire base began to hum, as if waking up. The hum grew louder, deeper, like the mountain itself had a heartbeat. Tali's voice cut through the rising noise. I just tripped something. This whole place is on a burn cycle. Brick raised his rifle. You mean self-destruct? No, she said. Worse. It's purging us. The older Mira slammed a fist into the wall panel. Of course they did. Every loop that wakes up gets scrubbed. Mira looked around at the other pods now flickering to life. One Kaito inside started screaming, until the pod filled with gas and silenced him. Jesus, Brick muttered. They're not just deleting data. They're killing off every version. Control chamber, Kaito and Tali sprinted down the corridor, following red hazard lights blinking like a countdown. We need the master override, Kaito said. I'm trying, Tali said, furiously tapping through layers of code. They buried it under so much encryption I can't even tell which part is real. Then her screen flashed, burn loop engaged, codeword, sundial, 5 minutes TO protocol cleanse, her hands froze. Kaito, this isn't just a purge. This base is set to fold itself out of time. Like it was never here. He stared at her. How the hell do you even delete a location? You don't, she said. Unless it was never meant to exist in the first place. Main hall, prototype room. Meanwhile, Mira and Brick watched as 4 pods unlocked. Steam hissed out, and the first of the failed ones stepped forward. One looked like Brick, same body, but with a dead stare and arms twisted into blades. Ah hell. That's ugly me, Brick said. The clone looked up. No. I'm the real one, it said in a flat, synthetic voice. It lunged. Fight sequence. Mira dropped to one knee and fired a burst into another clone's knee joint. Metal shards sprayed like bone. The older Mira grabbed a rusted pipe and jammed it into the throat of one that looked like her younger self. Brick brawled with his copy, grunting, "I've had worse mornings," before snapping its synthetic neck with a brutal twist. One of the Tali variants shrieked and leapt from a wall, but the real Tali sent a pulse charge through the chamber, frying its nervous system. "They're faster," Mira said, panting. "Not smarter," Brick said, wiping blood from his chin. Flashback, Accord Black File, redacted, subject, Ironheart Unit Design Failure Log, Notes, Variant B7, Brick Type, exhibited aggressive loyalty response, terminated 5 squad mates during training. Design approved with emotional dampeners, status, loop closed. Terminate on site. Back in the control chamber, Tali finally found the shutdown command. She hesitated. "There's a catch," she said. "What kind of catch?" Mira asked. "If I override the system, I have to stay linked in. I can't move." "No," Mira said immediately. Kaito put a hand on Tali's shoulder. "There's always another way." "There's not this time," she said, voice calm. "This is my job. I'm the only one who can finish this." She turned to Mira. "I'll get you the coordinates to where it all started. Just make sure someone hears the truth." Mira stared at her, then nodded. Moments later, as the base began to collapse inward, Mira, Brick, Kaito, and the older Mira ran toward the exit tunnel. Behind them, Tali stood alone in the control chamber, fingers dancing over the interface, calm even as alarms blared. Just before the final screen went dark, she hit send. Coordinates transmitted. Location: First Contact, System 0 Centaurus. Classification: Level Black. The last thing she heard was the voice of the Watchers. 1 sacrifice, 7 memories. "We remember her now." The jump ship dropped out of fold space like a stone skipping off the surface of a dead ocean. Silence. No radio signals. No starlight. Just the black throat of System 0 Centaurus staring back. Kaito checked the NAV console. "This place doesn't exist. I mean, it shouldn't." "Coordinates don't lie," Mira said, hands tight on the controls. Brick leaned forward, frowning. "Feels like we're flying inside a thought someone tried to forget." On the edge of the system, something shimmered, like a shadow against deeper dark. A ship, massive. Split in half. Suspended in space like time froze mid-break. Mira whispered, "That's not human." "No," the older Mira said from the back, voice flat. "That's them." Flashback, Accord briefing room, redacted year. The projection showed a blurred image of the derelict ship. "Contact made with nonlinear entity," the official said. "No communication possible. Perceived time loop contamination. Immediate memory wipe and protocol shutdown enacted." Someone in the room raised a hand. "What do we do if it comes back?" The official didn't answer. Aboard the derelict, they docked on what looked like a maintenance ring, or maybe it used to be. Everything felt sideways. Like the walls were listening. Mira led with Kaito covering rear. Brick moved slower than usual, tension in every step. "This hull's made of something I can't scan," Kaito said. "It absorbs radar like a black hole." The hallway opened into a chamber. At the center, a suspended crystal, flickering with fragmented memories, images, audio, pain. The Watcher signal. It hit Mira like a punch behind the eyes. "You are remembered." She staggered back. "It's them. They're in here." The older Mira grabbed her arm. "Don't resist it. They want us to see." Visions, triggered by the signal. Flashes of other Iron Hearts. Lost wars. Whole planets consumed. One image burned harder than the rest. Tali, her mind alive inside the signal, standing at a console inside the black site, lips moving in a loop. then something else, a being, faceless, made of threads and light. Watching. Always watching, Kaito gasped. We're not just built for war. We're bait. What? Brick asked. They didn't create us to win, Kaito said, stunned. They built us to get their attention. The Watchers don't see individuals. They see patterns. Back to reality, the crystal dimmed. The chamber grew cold, the older Mira backed up, staring at the ceiling. We never had a choice. Every loop, every mission, they weren't tests. They were flares. Trying to trigger a response. And now they're awake, Mira said. Kaito checked the signal stream. There's a data burst in here. Encrypted. Looks like Tali's signature. Brick stepped up. Then we're getting her out. She's in the system, Kaito said. Then we go into the system, Mira replied. Everyone went quiet. The older Mira nodded slowly. This is where the loops end. And the war begins.